from Emperor Augustus that all the world should be registered. This was the first registration that was taken while Quirinius was governor of Syria. All went to their towns to be registered. Joseph also went from the town of Nazareth in Galilee to Judah, to the city of David called Bethlehem, because he was descended from the house and the family of David. He went to be registered with Mary, to whom he was engaged and was expecting a child. While they were there, the time came for her to deliver her child, and she gave birth to her firstborn son, and wrapped him in bands of cloth, and laid him in a manger, because there was no place for them in the inn. In that region, there were shepherds living in the fields, keeping watch over their flock by night. Then an angel of the Lord stood before them, and the glory of the Lord shone around them, and they were terrified. But the angel said to them, "Do not be afraid, for see, I am bringing you good news of great joy for all the people. To you this day, in the city of David, a Savior, who is the Messiah, the Lord. This will be a sign for you. You will find a child wrapped in bands of cloth and laying in a manger." And then suddenly, with the angel, a multitude of the heavenly host, praising God and saying, "Glory to God in the highest heaven, and on earth, and peace among whom he favors." When the angels had left them and gone into heaven, and the shepherds said to one another, "Let us go now to Bethlehem and see this thing that has taken place, which the Lord has made known to us." So they went with haste and found Mary and Joseph, and the child laying in the manger. When they saw this, they made known what had been told to them about this child. And all who heard it were amazed at what the shepherds had told them. But Mary treasured all these words and pondered them in her heart. The shepherds returned, glorifying and praising God for all that they had heard and seen, as it had been told to them.
Is that it? You're not done, are you?
Well, I could keep reading if you want me to.
Yes, we want the whole story.
Okay. After 8 days had passed, it was time to circumcise the child, and he was called Jesus, the name given by the angel before he was conceived in the womb. When it became time for the purification according to the law of Moses, they brought him up to Jerusalem to present him to the Lord. As it is written in the law of the Lord, every firstborn male shall be designated as holy to the Lord. And they offered a sacrifice according to what is stated in the law of the Lord, a pair of turtle doves or 2 young pigeons.
Wait a minute. Where are you going with this? Circumcision? Sacrificing? Turtle doves? Who wrote it?
Luke. It's the gospel according to Luke chapter 2. People are telling me that they want the traditional story, so this year we're taking it directly from the Bible. Straight up, no editing. What could be more traditional than Luke chapter 2 today? Luke chapter 2 is what they read on Christmas Eve in the little house in the big woods.
Fine. We all like Luke chapter 2, but we also want the rest of the story. We want the innkeeper, the 3 wise men, and the camels.
There are no animals cooing at the manger in the Bible, and there is no mention of an innkeeper, kind or otherwise.
But there is wise men in the Bible, the 3 of them, in Matthew.
Matthew mentions the wise guys in his story, but they come later. They come when Jesus is a toddler age, and they come without camels. Matthew's version is pretty well Spartan. There isn't even a stable seat. Would you rather have wise guys in a manger?
But we ask for tradition, not biblical literism. Tradition is a story. It has been told and retold, modeled and shaped. Maybe it's not strictly biblical, but it does have an important meaning for us.
Meaning or nostalgia?
Fair question. I think it goes beyond nostalgia, though nostalgia is its own gift. Each character in our story has a particular purpose. Take the role of the innkeeper, for instance. It has an important role. The innkeeper is where we were invited into the story. He is faced with an important question. Does he have room for Jesus? We love to boo and the innkeeper, but really, would we do any differently? In his shoes, how would we respond?
Okay, I get the innkeeper, but that's kind of important in the story. But the wise guys, they just don't belong. They're from another story and a completely different type of Jesus life. They've only been copied to introduce the gifting, viewing our conservative fever.
I have to admit that the wise men we have known to them have a little semblance to Matthew's story, but we have come to know them as they represent human diversity, men and women too. That's why we say wise guys instead of the wise men. Come from different continents and different ethnicities, and all they are drawn to the light. Welcome in Jesus' presence.
Are you going to suggest now that the animals are important too? Some St. Francis blessing of the animals kind of thing?
Maybe. Or maybe even in the animals in the Christmas pageant are just fun. Some of our kids like to pretend to be donkeys or sheep or cows. And don't you think Jesus would have welcomed them too? Given that Jesus is known for welcoming children, even inviting us to be like children. I couldn't help but think children playing as animals, just for the fun of it, would not be enough. But there is also an element of realism in the animals' bringing of humility even.
Okay, bring in the animals. Clearly, I'm losing control of this pageant thing. They're cute, definite Kodak moment, but we're quickly losing the point of this pageant.
Now we need angels.
We've got angels. Luke gave us angels. They're right there in the aisle. And they are us always, darling.
Right. Okay, but in the tradition story...
Whose tradition? If there's nothing else I've learned from today's confusion, I've learned the importance of the definition of tradition.
In this story, I remember from my childhood, my tradition, I guess, is the angels at the major, too. And this seems important because angels have fleeting glimpses of the divine, and everywhere angels are not bound by the time by space. Angels represent the mysterious presence of the divine.
What are you talking about? This is a children's play, not a doctoral thesis.
Point taken. The angels are beautiful. The children have dressed up like angels on Christmas Eve, such as a precious sight of many of us cry with joy. Can the shepherds come back too? I know they didn't hang around in Luke's story, but we haven't even had their picture taken yet.
Clearly, I've lost control. I'm feeling like pathetic Jonathan Toomey held hostage by a precious child's memory. Why not? Bring on the shepherds.
Mock if you will, but there is still one more piece. The star.
The star from Matthew's story?
Yes, the star is a timeless symbol of the light that shines in the darkness. The light that the darkness that could neither comprehend nor control. A light that shines enabling us to follow. I'm done, really. Of course, we could use a Santa Claus.